Hi, it's Reggie. Welcome back to Moonlight and Moments. Have you ever offered someone a softness you couldn't seem to find for yourself? We tend to show up for others with gentleness, patience, and compassion. And yet, when it comes to our own hearts, we go quiet. We push through exhaustion, we downplay our needs, we treat our struggles as inconveniences instead of invitations to pause. This episode is for the ones who comfort everyone else and forget to check in on themselves. For the caretakers, the quiet givers, the ones who believe kindness must always flow outward. Tonight's story follows Kaya, a girl who tends to the royal garden with tenderness and care, but never speaks a kind word to herself. A fairy tale, yes, but also a mirror. Because self compassion isn't about indulgence, it's about remembering that you are allowed to belong to your own love. So take a breath and let's begin. Once upon a quiet time, in a kingdom where roses listened and stars leaned low to hear whispers, there lived a girl named Kaya. She was not a princess, though she slept beside a castle. She was not royal, though her fingers had coaxed 1,000 blooms from the soil, and her humming kept the garden alive through even the cruelest frost. Kaya was simply the girl who kept the garden. Each morning, before the sun woke, Kaya tiptoed barefoot across the dew-wet path, her arms cradling watering cans and spools of ribbon for wish-charmed trees. She sang lullabies to saplings and whispered apologies to broken stems. She knew the name of every flower. She knew which roses cried when it rained and which ones liked to be alone. But Kaya did not speak to herself. If her back ached, she said nothing. If her stomach growled, she tended another vine. When the wind scattered her journal pages or the thorns scratched her hands raw, she only tightened her braid and worked harder. The world, she believed, was not made for softness. Not for her softness, at least. Long ago, someone had told her she was too tender to be strong, and she had believed it. The castle beyond the hedges had long been silent. The queen who once tended to hearts had passed into stardust seasons ago. With no heir born of her blood, the kingdom waited, expectant, uncertain. But the queen had left a final wish. Not for power, not for riches, not for a crown made of gold. Her wish had been whispered into the wind and sealed into the garden soil. Let the one who knows how to love herself with the same grace she offers others be revealed. She shall be my heir, not by name, but by heart. No one knew of this wish, except the garden. That winter, something began to change. One evening, as Kaya tucked a blanket of straw around the lavender bed, she heard a voice. Not loud, not frightening. You are tired, little bloom, it said. Kaya froze. She looked around. No one. Only moonlight caught in ivy and the steady rhythm of her own breath. I must be imagining things, she murmured, shaking her head. But the next night it happened again. And again. The garden began to speak, not just in whispers, but in kindness. Words she'd never allowed herself to think. You did enough today. Your heart is tired. Rest is noble. You are not weak for wanting softness. Kaya dropped her tools. She pressed a hand to her chest. Something was loosening there, something old and aching. Still, she resisted. Her hands still worked too long. Her body still stood too straight. The garden sighed, but waited. Then came the mirror moon. It arrived with the new snow, a perfect circle of silver hanging low over the garden's willow tree. Beneath it, a mirror appeared where none had been before. Oval, ornate, carved in vines of ivory. But the mirror did not show Kaya's reflection. It showed her actions. the way she soothed a trembling rabbit, yet scolded herself for shivering, the way she prepared tea for others, yet drank cold water from her palms, the way she offered kind words like petals and never caught one for herself. Night after night, Kaya watched. She cried, and then she tried. At first, small things: a clean cup of tea just for herself, a blanket on her shoulders, not just on the plants, her name written in a note: Kaya, you are kind. The mirror glowed brighter. She began speaking aloud. I am allowed to rest. The garden stared. She laughed once, alone, and didn't shush herself. The wind danced through the trees. She caught her own reflection in a rain puddle and whispered, I want to be your friend. The roses bloomed in winter, but all magic has its test. On the coldest night, the garden fell still. No voice, no warmth. The mirror turned gray. Kaya stood alone, every kindness she had gathered curling inside her like a sleeping ember. What more do I have to give? She whispered, her voice cracking. And in that moment, she saw her younger self in the mirror. A little girl with dirt-smudged cheeks and calloused palms, hiding behind the hedges. The girl who had learned to survive by being small, silent, and selfless. Kaya fell to her knees, and with trembling hands, she pressed them to her heart. You did not deserve silence, she whispered to the child within. You did not deserve to carry it all. You are worth the love you give away. The garden exploded in bloom. Roses, lavender, peonies, jasmine, all bursting into color as if spring had rushed back early to embrace her. The wind howled with joy. The trees bowed. The mirror dissolved, and in its place, a crown of moonstone and violet ivy formed, resting gently in Kaya's lap. Not heavy, not regal, just right. The queen's wish had been fulfilled. From that day forward, the kingdom did not speak of queens and servants, but of keepers of kindness, and how the truest strength is to offer yourself the gentleness you give away. Kaya ruled not with might, but with mercy, not from a throne, but from a garden bench, tea in one hand and her own name written softly in the soil below her feet. And every night, when the moon was full, she looked in the mirror she no longer needed and smiled. Kaya's story may wear the shimmer of a fairy tale, but its truth is entirely human. Many of us know what it means to be the keeper of someone else's peace, to be the one who remembers birthdays, who ties ribbons around the edges of others' pain, who carries silent burdens with grace. It is a beautiful thing to offer the world your gentleness. But somewhere along the way, that tenderness can become lopsided, always flowing outward, never inward, always a lullaby for others but never for ourselves. Kaya was never unkind, but she was unfamiliar with the idea that she too was worthy of the compassion she so effortlessly extended to others. This is the quiet ache of so many people, the ones who say, I'm fine, and mean, I'm forgotten. The ones who make sure everyone else is warm while standing barefoot in their own winter. The ones who give and give and give until they forget that receiving is not a betrayal of strength, but a necessary act of balance. Self-compassion at its core is the radical act of not abandoning yourself in the moments you need love the most. It is looking in the mirror, not to critique or correct, but to witness. To say, you are trying, and that's enough. It's tending to your own heart the way you might tend a wounded bird or a tired child, not with perfection, but with presence. In Kaya's journey, the garden became a reflection of her inner life. As she softened toward herself, the world around her bloomed. And that's not just poetic, it's a lived truth. Because when we learn to be kind to ourselves, everything shifts. Our relationships deepen, our capacity for joy expands. Our sense of self becomes a home, not a battlefield. We're taught that love is something we earn, something conditional or transactional. But what if love, especially self love, is something you return to, like a garden? Something you choose day by day, not because you've achieved enough, but because you exist. Kaya didn't need to prove her worthiness. She needed to remember it. And so do we. We live in a world that rarely pauses to ask, are you being gentle with yourself today? We are praised for our productivity, for our resilience, for how much we can endure. But endurance is not the same as ease, and grace is not reserved only for others. Kaya's fairy tale reminds us that the moment we start treating ourselves like someone we deeply care for, something sacred begins to bloom. Maybe it starts small, a kind word spoken inward, a 5-minute break you don't explain away, a refusal to measure your worth by your exhaustion. Maybe the garden doesn't bloom overnight, but it will, because love, when turned inward, grows roots, and those roots will hold you when everything else feels like it's falling apart. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from work, but from withholding kindness from ourselves for too long. It's the ache of always being there for others, yet never quite knowing how to be there for yourself. And it's more common than we often admit. Because in real life, many of us are Kaya. We're the caretakers, the overachievers, the quiet supporters. We're the ones who notice when someone's had a hard day, who send check-in texts, who offer the last piece of cake. We remember everyone's preferences, anticipate needs before they're voiced, and carry the emotional temperature of room like second nature. But when it comes to our own hearts, we go quiet. We shrug off compliments, we apologize for resting. We keep our voices soft so no one is uncomfortable. We try to earn love through usefulness, and when we feel overwhelmed or depleted, we often respond with guilt instead of grace. Why can I handle this? I should be doing more. Other people have it worse. Don't be so sensitive. These inner scripts aren't unusual. They're survival mechanisms. Many of us learned early that being needed was safer than being noticed. That kindness was expected, not returned. That asking for care was selfish or weak. So we became fluent in gentleness for others, but not for ourselves. Self-compassion in the real world can feel awkward, even indulgent at first. It might look like saying no without a 5-paragraph apology, canceling plans because your body is whispering that it needs stillness, speaking to yourself like you would to your dearest friend, allowing a bad day to be just a bad day, not a reflection of your worth, holding your own hand, metaphorically or literally, and saying, "You're okay, I've got you." And yet so many of us resist these things. Why? Because self-kindness challenges everything we've internalized about value, productivity, and love. It disrupts the story that our worth comes from how well we perform, serve, or stay small. To treat yourself kindly is to step out of survival mode. It's to believe, even just for a breath, that you are not a project to fix, but a person to love. Real life Kaya might be the single mom who encourages her children every morning, but forgets to speak to herself with that same warmth. The nurse who holds strangers' hands through pain but berates herself for needing a break. The college student who is everyone's emotional anchor, yet spirals in silence when alone. The friend who always listens, always shows up, always smiles, but hasn't asked, "What do I need?" in months. These people are not selfish for wanting rest. They are not dramatic for needing softness. They are simply human. And so are you. You don't have to earn the right to your own compassion. You were born worthy of it. Kaya's mirror may be a fairy tale, but our real mirrors are everywhere. In the way we speak to ourselves when we're late, in how we respond to our own tears, in whether we allow ourselves to grieve, to rest, to want more. The way you talk to yourself matters. The way you soothe yourself after failure matters. The way you hold yourself in joy and in pain matters. Because you matter. Even if no one has told you lately, your tenderness is not weakness. It is your superpower. Your ability to offer love inward is not vanity. It's the beginning of healing. And your worth is not fragile, not temporary, not conditional. It's rooted deep and true, just like Kaya's garden. If you've spent most of your life being gentle with others but harsh with yourself, please hear this. Learning to be kind to yourself will feel unfamiliar at first, and that's okay. It's like learning a new language, a language your body already understands, but your mind has forgotten. A dialect of tenderness, a vocabulary of rest, forgiveness, and quiet bravery. You don't have to change everything all at once. Begin where Kaya did, in the small sacred spaces. Here are some soft, practical ways to begin turning your compassion inward. 1. Speak to yourself like someone you love. When you make a mistake, miss a deadline, or feel overwhelmed, pause and notice the words you use with yourself. Would you say them to a friend, a child, someone you love? If not, try again. Say, I'm doing my best with what I know. This is hard, and I'm still worthy. I don't need to be perfect to be enough. You don't have to believe these things right away. Just let your nervous system hear them. Let the inner soil soften. 2. Create a ritual of return. Choose a moment in your day, morning, bedtime, or even while washing your hands, and make it a brief ritual of self-kindness. Examples: gently place a hand on your heart and say, "Hi, I'm here." Write one sentence to yourself that begins with, "I forgive you for." Light a candle and breathe for 60 seconds with no agenda but presence. Rituals don't need to be elaborate to be effective. Their power comes from consistency, from returning again and again to your own heart. 3. Offer yourself something small and beautiful. In Kaya's story, her act of compassion was often physical. Making tea, sitting under the moon, writing her name in the soil. You can do the same. Pour your favorite drink and drink it slowly, without multitasking. Wrap yourself in a blanket like a hug. Pour something soft, not for anyone else, but because it feels good. Put a kind note in your pocket for later. You might need it. These moments are not silly or indulgent, they're nourishment. 4. Challenge the inner critic with curiosity. When your inner voice becomes critical, pause. Instead of arguing, ask, whose voice is this? What do I actually need right now? Is there a softer way to say this? This isn't about forcing positivity. It's about noticing the sharpness and offering a gentler option. Every time you do this, you rewire your relationship with yourself. 5. Keep a kindness log. Each evening, jot down one way you were kind to yourself. Not perfect, kind. Even something small. I let myself cry. I went to bed early. I didn't check emails after dinner. I asked for help. Over time, you'll begin to see that you can be a safe place for yourself, that you are learning how to come home to your own care. 6. Remember that softness is a strength. The world may not always reward gentleness, but you can. When you speak kindly to yourself after failing, when you rest without guilt, when you stay tender in a world that tells you to harden, you are doing something revolutionary. You are choosing to love the one person who's been with you through everything, yourself. The journey of becoming kind to yourself is not linear. Some days you will forget. Some days you'll fall into old patterns. That's okay. Self-compassion is not about being soft all the time. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to need things. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to take up space in your own heart. The same way Kaya learned to listen to the garden's whispers, you can learn to listen to your own. And when you do, you'll find that there's a part of you that's been waiting, not for your perfection, but for your presence. She's still there, still blooming, still worthy. If you're in a place where you can sit or lie down, give yourself permission to pause. Let your hands rest where they naturally fall. Drop your shoulders. Let your breath begin to soften. You don't have to do anything except be here. You made it to this moment, and that's enough. Now gently close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Feel it rise through your chest like warm light, and then let it go through your mouth like a sigh. One more time, and exhale. Let the breath find its rhythm. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a quiet garden. It's early morning. The world is still hushed. There's a softness in the air, as if even the wind is whispering. In front of you is a small wooden gate, aged but not broken, worn but loved. You push it open slowly and step inside. All around you, things are blooming, not in perfect rows, not all at once, but beautifully, wildly, in their own time. There are flowers curling toward the light. There are some still closed, waiting. There are petals on the ground, proof that something once blossomed and let go. You walk deeper in. Each step you take, the garden seems to recognize you, as if it has known your name, as if it's been waiting for you to return. You pass a tall tree. It leans slightly, like it's bowing in your direction. You notice a stone bench, old and mossy, inviting. And next to it, a mirror. It's resting on the earth, framed in ivy. You kneel down, slowly, and look. But instead of your reflection, you see your inner world. You see the way you've cared for others, the way you've smiled through grief, the way you've kept showing up. You see moments you thought no one noticed, when you comforted a friend, stayed up late to help, gave without being asked. You see the weight you've carried, the exhaustion, the loneliness, the moments you were brave just by getting through the day. Let all of that be seen. Let it all belong. Now imagine the mirror speaking, not with words but with warmth, with knowing, and you hear somewhere deep in your being, you are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are human. You are trying. You are loved. Let those words sink into your breath, and now begin placing your hand on your heart. Say quietly, inwardly, or aloud if you wish, I am allowed to be kind to myself. Again, I am allowed to be kind to myself. Once more, like watering a seed, I am allowed to be kind to myself. Let that seed settle into the soil of your body and just sit here for a few more breaths as the garden within you begins to bloom. You don't have to rush. You don't have to do anything. Just be here with yourself, exactly as you are. You are worthy of the love you give away, always. When you're ready, gently bring your attention back to your space. Wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, and if your eyes were closed, open them slowly. You are still in the world, but something inside you has softened. Carry that with you, not as a task, but as a truth. You are worth the quiet kindness you offer so easily to others, and you always have been. If there's one thing I hope you carry from this episode, it's this. The love you offer others is not meant to exclude you. You don't have to keep pouring from a heart that's never allowed to receive. You don't have to keep proving you're strong by going without softness. You are allowed to be the one who rests, the one who says no, the one who wraps your own arms around yourself and whispers, "It's okay. You've done enough." Tonight's story wasn't just about Kaya's garden. It was about yours. The one you've been growing quietly inside, maybe even without realizing it. Every time you chose presence over perfection, every time you forgave yourself instead of punishing, every time you paused even for a breath, and remembered that being human is not a flaw. It's the whole point. So if your mirror has been silent, if your heart has been tired, this is your invitation. Be as kind to yourself as you are to everyone else. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Follow Moonlight and Moments wherever you listen and share it with someone who might need a little light today. Until next time, and as always, love yourself better than yesterday.
I tell my friends, take it slow. Tell them you don't have to prove. I give out grace like flowers, but forget I need it too. I calm the storms in others with words I never say to me. I tell them they are worthy, but for myself I just can't see. So I'm learning to be as kind to myself as I am to the world around me, to offer the love I've always given to the heart inside that's sounding. I don't have to wait for someone else to give what I deny myself. It starts with one soft breath, one quiet truth, to be as kind to myself as I am to you. I soothe the pain of strangers, let them cry, then hold them close. But when it comes to my own sadness, I act like I'm supposed to cope. I cheer on every journey, tell them rest is not defeat, but I rush past my own aching, like my piece is incomplete. So I'm learning to be as kind to myself as I am to the world around me, to offer the love I've always given to the heart inside that's sounding. I don't have to wait for someone else to give what I deny myself. It starts with one soft breath, one quiet truth, to be as kind to myself as I am to you. I've carried every kindness in the pockets of my soul. Now I'm turning one back inward to remind myself I'm whole. I'm still learning to be as kind to myself as I am to the